understand all these advanced physics concepts like folding space and string theory. I got all of these things. I thought all of these things were the frame. I got that all of these things were the framework upon which magic, time travel, etc. were based. But it didn't mean my brain was up for grasping the actual science part. Okay, I get that time and space are like ideas. I trailed off as Jarvis closed his eyes, trying to calm himself. Okay, why do I have to know this stuff? I asked again for like the 3,000th time. We've been working on the whole wormhole calling thing for the past few months, and the best I could do was set Jarvis's hair on fire. I hadn't meant to do it. I'd just gotten frustrated. I'm good at the magic-y stuff only when I'm feeling emotional or I'm in a high-stress situation. And therefore, before I knew what was happening, Jarvis's hair was doing an impersonation of Michael Jackson at his infamous Pepsi commercial shoot. Luckily, Jarvis, I know, too soon. Luckily, Jarvis is way more adept at magic than me and was able to put out the fire before it did any permanent damage, but he'd watched me like a hawk ever since. You have to understand why spells and wormholes work in order to fully control them, Jarvis intoned, in an exact repeat of what he'd said the first and last time I'd asked him the question. Jarvis, his patience worn thin, sat down heavily on one of the library's wingback chairs, his long legs splayed out in front of him like he was a gangling schoolboy. Resting his elbows on the arms of the chair, he started massaging his temples as if that would somehow make the lesson run smoother. As much as I hated to admit it, I was a terrible death student. I didn't like magic, I didn't like monsters, I was not a fan of the recently departed, and liking all those things kind of went hand in hand with running Death Inc. I think my non-interest was the biggest reason why I sucked at wormhole calling. I once heard someone say emotion can't get through a tense muscle, and I was pretty sure you could supplant emotion with magic, and it would wholly apply to my problem. "Shall we try again?" Jarvis said finally, opening his eyes to look at me again. I shrugged. "I'm game if you are." My answer did nothing to ease Jarvis's worry. Okay, the key to calling up a wormhole so you could travel through space, time, and whatever without having to get in a train, car, or plane was to envision exactly where you wanted to go and then imagine yourself there. It didn't matter if you'd never been there before or had no clue how it looked. All that was important was the idea of holding the place in your mind. It was this link that enabled you to access the wormhole system and get where you wanted to go. Okay, I was inept at this task. I could think of the place, get the idea in my head, and then 2 seconds later my mind was spinning off in other directions, my thoughts like buckshot. I didn't do this on purpose, I was just unfocused. A problem I'd had since I was a little kid. I guess you could say I had a touch of the old attention deficit disorder. Unless I was just completely obsessed with something, I tended to get distracted really easily. "Now close your eyes," Jarvis began in his clipped British accent, my bad one, sorry, which contrasted so nicely with the lanky young American body he now possessed. I did as he asked, not wanting to get snapped at for daydreaming, and closed my eyes, letting his words wash over me in waves. "And imagine you are in your bedroom at Sea Verge." Just like that, my newly decorated bedroom magically materialized within the imaginary world of my mind's eye. I smiled at the creme caramel carpet I'd just had installed, the polished redwood platform bed, fluffy purple down comforter, and matching redwood dresser and vanity Cleo had helped me pick out. I had to admit the old bedroom was starting to look pretty tricked out, if I did say so myself. When it had become apparent I was going to have to give up my Manhattan apartment for a full-time residency at Sea Verge, I decided the only way I could justify the move was to totally redo my old bedroom. I worried that returning to the wicker bedroom set of my childhood might trigger a full-scale regression, and I so did not need a new issue to add to the ones I was already dealing with. What I wanted was a clean What I wanted was a clean slate, not a clean skate. A new beginning, and trashing all my old stuff seemed like the perfect way to get the ball rolling in the right direction. As usual, without meaning to, my brain had unintentionally left the confines of my bedroom and was on the move. An image of my old bedroom furniture sitting in the Goodwill, waiting for someone to take pity on it, overwhelmed my thoughts. Guilt welled up inside me. Had I made a bad decision? Was I supposed to keep all of my old stuff forever and never move forward? I'd had that stupid wicker furniture for eons. I'd been there waiting for it. It had been there waiting for me every summer when I came back from the New Newbridge Academy, full of teen angst and hatred, and having to leave the boarding school that felt more like a home than my actual home did. I'd spend hours moping around my room, writing in my journal and mooning over whatever male flavor of the week I had a crush on. That furniture and I had a lot of shared history, and what had I done? I just chucked it out like garbage. I opened my eyes. Jarvis was standing above me, his foot tapping in staccato triplets that did nothing to hide his annoyance. You were obviously not thinking about your bedroom, or you would be there now, Jarvis said. Well, I was thinking about it for a minute, I said. Jarvis shook his head. I wish there was a way to make you focus, he mumbled under his breath. Perhaps a pill that worked in the same fashion as a lobotomy. Now that wasn't nice, I thought to myself. A lobotomy? Surprised, Jarvis looked up sheepishly. Oh, you're still here, he murmured. Was that a dig at my inability to call up a wormhole, I wondered? And where would I have gone in 2 seconds, I said. To your bedroom, if you could call a bloody wormhole, Jarvis said, shaking his head. Yes, it was a dig. Annoyed with myself and with the dumb wormhole calling lesson, I flopped down on the couch, releasing some of the tension my body had collected during the course of my myriad attempts to wormhole my way out of Dodge. Jarvis wasn't a bad teacher, but he was very demanding, which only added to my sense of failure when I was unable to do as he asked. While I waited for Jarvis to give me another task to do, or more likely, cut our losses for the day and dismiss me,